In this video, I'm going to be making Reese's peanut butter balls. All you need are the 5 ingredients here. You need 2.5 cups of powdered sugar, 1 stick of melted butter, 1.5 cups of creamy peanut butter. You need some Reese's Pieces. I don't know quite how many I'm gonna need yet. You're gonna need a cup. You're gonna need a cup of Reese's Pieces. But this, they sell these in the baking aisle. They sell it with those cups. We're not gonna be using those cups. But we're gonna end up using 1 cup of Reese's Pieces. I just don't know how many bags you're gonna need for that. And then we need some almond bark. And this almond bark, it has all the squares, but I only have 1 square missing. So you're gonna need basically a block of almond bark. So the first thing you wanna do is we're gonna put our peanut butter, our powdered sugar, and our butter into our mixer and combine them together. We're gonna end up needing a cup of these, but we're not gonna use the cups like I said. So I'm gonna pick the cups out. Anytime I see a cup, I'm gonna pick it out, and then somebody will get to eat them. I have not seen Reese's Pieces like in the checkout at Walmart in forever. And I haven't seen bags of like big bags of Reese's Pieces. I haven't seen those in the candy aisle either. You probably could go to Dollar Tree and you could buy boxes of Reese's Pieces, but those would probably end up being as expensive as just buying a couple bags of these. Boy, they give you a lot of those cups, don't they?
They're good.
Yeah, oh, they're good. Oh, they'll be enjoyed, but I'm just saying they give you a lot of those. So you want a cup of these. So you are gonna need 2 bags if you buy them in the baking aisle. So you are gonna need a cup of these, but then you're gonna need some extra ones anyway to decorate the tops of these balls. So we have a lot left in here, but that's okay because we're gonna decorate the top. So take your Reese's Pieces now and add those to your mix, and we're gonna combine this together. You also need a cookie sheet with a piece of parchment paper because we're gonna end up putting our balls on the parchment paper. I have a small cookie scoop and then I have a large cookie scoop. I'm gonna use the large cookie scoop just because I want big balls. I like bigger balls than smaller balls. And so you want to put them together like that, and then you want to put them on your parchment paper. And I'm gonna use my hands too. So you wanna, I wanna compress these like this because we're going to, and they can be as close together on this baking sheet because we're just gonna put them in the freezer. It's not like they're gonna spread or anything, but we're gonna put them in the freezer, and then we're gonna end up dipping them into the melted almond bark. So it doesn't matter how close these are. And if you want to get a lot more balls out of this, then just use a smaller cookie scoop and make them smaller. It just depends on how big you want them to be. This, we make Oreo balls, and these are probably the size that I make Oreo balls. got 26 balls. So what you want to do is put these in the freezer. We're gonna have them in the freezer for probably about half an hour, and then we'll come back. I looked up in the cabinet and I forgot that we had some chocolate almond bark. This is chocolate flavored coating, and there's only 3 bars left. So this is from like a recipe video, probably who knows when. But I kept this for a while. So I thought, why not try this? It's only 2 big blocks. Why not try this on just a couple of those to see if it tastes like a Reese's cup? And so we're going to melt this in the microwave. How do you do it, Kevin?
You do it for like a minute the first time, and then if it's not melted, you stir it. And if it's not melted, you do it like 15-second intervals after that. Just stir it every time.
So I won't be able to cover up too many of those balls.
Yeah,
so
probably only get like 2 or 3.
That's fine though. We're gonna melt this first, and then we're gonna come back and cover those balls, and then we'll melt the white chocolate. So here's the chocolate. I got our balls out of the freezer. I'm gonna do a little one here and just roll it around in here. And I told Kevin, I said, we might try these in chocolate, and we might realize, oh, we should have done all of them in chocolate. They might be better in chocolate. So you just lay it out here, and you kind of have to work a little quickly. Now, this was all the Reese's Pieces. So like, I bought those 2 bags. That's all that we have left after getting a cup. So just know that you will need 2 full bags if you get them out of the baking aisle. So we're gonna do the same thing with this one. And then just put just a couple Reese's Pieces on top, or you won't have enough to go around. So normally at this point I would put them in the freezer for like 5 minutes. Although
Not that they need it.
They don't need it. They're solidified now. But I'm not going to do that because now we're going to move on to our white bark. And you don't want to heat on both at the same time, just because you don't want it to firm up while you're using one or the chocolate. You know, I didn't want it to firm up. So how many of these do you think I'll need?
Well, you got 2, 4, you got 7 out of 2. Oh, it kills your hands to break those.
Yeah, it's hard to break. I think let's do 5. Or do you think more?
No, we can start with that.
We'll start with 5.
We can always add more.
And then we'll come back. Okay, here's our white chocolate. And how long do you said you put it in for a minute to begin with?
You put it for a minute, and then it was still pretty solid. So then I put it in for another 20 seconds, and then I put it in for 15 seconds. As long as you stir it up between each time or move it around a bit, it tends to be okay. I've never, I mean, I guess you could potentially burn this stuff, but you'd have to leave it in there a really long time.
We're gonna do. We're gonna put these back in the freezer. I'm only gonna put them in there for like 5 minutes because really I don't think they need it. But five minutes will be good to get these that are still wet. I'm gonna leave these naked for right now because I want Kevin and I to try it. I want to try it naked. I want to try the white, and then I want to try the chocolate. And if we don't like them as much naked, then I'll end up putting white on them after the review. But I would like to try them, leave them plain like this, just to see, hey, we might not need the coating at all on there. So we're going to put these back in the freezer for about 5 minutes, and then we'll be back to give them a try. These were only in the freezer for 5 minutes, so they haven't changed much, but I do want to cut them in half so you can see how they look. So this one, that's what happens when you don't put the almond bark on there. It's gonna fall apart a little bit. And then here is a chocolate one. And that has that, you might have heard that crunch of the crust, the almond bark. And then we have a white chocolate. And it's hard to cut through those Reese's Pieces too, but that's how they look on the inside. So we're gonna try a plain one first with no almond bark at all.
Just give me the big half.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if he's thinking the same thing.
Is it a peanut butter roll? Is it the same flavor? Very similar?
To me, it tastes like peanut butter fudge.
Yeah, that too. It has a very soft, melty texture.
I could
see that.
If we had not added the Reese's Pieces, it would taste identical to peanut butter fudge.
Yeah.
And
I agree. They even have the similar texture. It's just not quite as firm.
So yeah. So I'm wondering if you couldn't take that same butter, powdered sugar, and peanut butter mixture and put that into a square pan.
Probably. It wouldn't make very much though. Well, it would make some.
It would make an 8x8 pan,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, probably wouldn't be very thick, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that would make all, I mean, it tastes like peanut butter fudge. It's delicious.
It does have the same flavor.
Okay, so do you want to do chocolate or white?
No, let's do the white.
White, okay.
Well, I know the chocolate's going to have more flavor, whereas the white's going to be more sweet.
It's a good size piece.
Mm-hmm. Mine had a lot of Reese's Pieces in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, if you don't want to use a whole cup, use 3/4 of a cup.
Mm-hmm.
Use a half a cup. You do not have to use a full cup.
Where's it go?
What do you think about the addition of the...
It does add a little slightly different flavor to it.
And texture.
And then you get that crisp shell on the outside.
It makes it easier though to stay together when you have the shell. It holds it together and it doesn't fall apart. But of course I cut that one. Normally you wouldn't cut it. You would just pick it up and eat it. So I don't think it would fall apart if you just picked it up and took a bite out of it.
I think the white chocolate adds, or the almond bark, adds a little bit of a vanilla kind of flavor to it.
Right.
It's really good. I like it. I like it both ways, honestly.
And now the chocolate.
That's good too.
These are very rich.
Mm-hmm. You know, another idea you could do if you really wanted to be daring, make the balls smaller and double dip them.
Mm.
Dip them in like the white chocolate and let them firm up, and then dip them in the chocolate bark. If you have a layer of white or dark or darker white, whatever, that'd be cool. I actually like the white chocolate better.
The chocolate with the Reese's Pieces reminds me of a Reese's cup.
A little bit. The chocolate's not very strong, but...
No, but that's why your idea is perfect. If you want it to taste more like a traditional Reese's cup, double dip it in the chocolate.
Make it thicker.
Yes, make it thicker. You're going to have a perfect... now, the texture... It's creamier. It's more like a fudge texture, so it's not that gritty Reese's texture.
Pretty good texture. I mean, it's pretty close though.
But the flavor, if you double dip that in the chocolate, it's going to be... So now what would you do? Would you... Okay, you dipped it and you've put it on your parchment paper. You let it dry. Would you put it in the freezer for 5 minutes and then bring it out and then dip it?
Whatever, just let it firm up.
Okay. Because I've never double dipped them before, so I don't know. Does it need to go in the freezer and then come back and do it again?
The shell's going to firm up even if you let it sit on the counter.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
So it's fine. Sit on the counter for a little, or you can stay in the freezer.
So by the time you got to the end of the first set, then you would probably be ready to go back and double dip the first one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just put a thicker coating on the
I
outside.
really like the chocolate ones. I'm glad we had that chocolate to test some out.
I like them. They're not quite as sweet as the white ones.
No, they're not as sweet, but they will remind you very much of a Reese's cup. And I think these would be absolutely delicious with no Reese's Pieces at all. Just the peanut butter ball. And you wouldn't even, you could dip them or not dip them. But I think
Without
I like
dipping
it.
them, it's definitely a different texture experience because you're not getting that shell on the outside.
Right.
It's more of a melt on your tongue kind of experience.
Right. It's
Mhm.
like, I think it tastes just like your peanut butter fudge.
It does,
Your
a lot like
homemade.
that, yeah.
Because Kevin, there's 2 recipes, or at least 2. We have many recipes for fudge. But he does have a homemade fudge
Where you
you're,
cook it.
You're putting a lot of different stuff in there. Well, who knew that you could just do that? And I think it would work out great. But these are so easy, something you can do with your kids, and
It just takes a little time to dip them. It takes more time to dip them than anything.
yeah, it does. But I think kids would really enjoy this.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you end up making them, you'll have to let me know your thoughts. And thanks for watching.